And we're live. Okay, so I guess I'll be the group. Or does somebody want to be the group leader? We didn't really. Well, Rachel, were you going to be the group leader?
Um, no, weren't you going to be the group leader this week? Are you the one that set up this?
I did set it up, so I guess I can do it.
But I'll be the group leader next week while we're talking about it.
All right, sounds good. Okay, so I guess we'll start with introductions. I guess the funnest thing that I've done in my other classes is the 2 truths and a lie type thing, kind of to get us flowing in our conversation, get us to know each other a little bit better. Does anybody want to start and tell us your name before and where you're from? I like to know where people are from. So anybody is welcome to start.
Ladies first.
Okay, I'll go first. I think also in the instructions it says something about what we like about this class so far. Supposed to say. I just read that in there. Anyway, if I understood you right, you said a lie, right? Can you guys hear me?
I guess I should read before I I take lead. Yeah, so it says share your name, your favorite thing about this course, and your career goals. So we could just do that. We'll just do that.
Hi.
Hi, Corinne.
Sorry, I'm a little late.
No, you're good. We're just starting introducing ourselves.
Okay.
So we're just saying our name, what you like about this, your favorite thing about this course, and your career goals.
Okay.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can.
My name's Tammy, and what do I like about this class? I feel like it's a lot easier than my other classes. Something more intelligent to say about it at this point. I do not have anything more intelligent to say about it. My career goals, I was planning on getting my master's in occupational therapy, and that may not do that now, so I'm sort of up in the air. I in home health care right now, and I'm getting ready to start my internship after this semester's up and graduate, so I'm looking forward to that.
Where's
That's
your
about all I can think
internship
of.
at?
Well, I have 2 right now that I'm deciding between, and one is internship, so I'll get paid, which is a bonus.
Yeah.
And it's with care company, and I would be managing their caregivers and
Cool.
training them, and so it's kind of health education because you're caregiving and following regulations and all that stuff.
That's pretty cool.
And the other one is for a government agency called Aging and Long-Term Care. Works with the elderly population. That's my favorite population.
Yeah.
And me too. I've always worked in nursing homes. So
yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
Funny,
I always thought I would want to work with like kids and stuff, but once I started working with elderly people, they're just so except for the ones that aren't, but we can talk about those ones. Anyway, that's about it for me, I think. Oh, and I'm from Spokane, Washington.
Okay. I guess I'll just go next. My name's Courtney. I'm from Kansas in a town called Shawnee. It's right outside of Kansas City. One thing I like about this course, I just kind of like what we're learning. It's different than what we've learned in my other major courses, so I think it's interesting. It's kind of challenging too for me sometimes, the reading. And then My career goals, it's kind of, I don't really know yet, but I'm thinking about PA school, and but that requires me to take one more chemistry class before I graduate, and then I was thinking about dental hygiene. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. And I don't have an internship yet, and I graduate next semester, so I should probably get on that. But it's hard to find one. So that's me.
Okay, I'll go next. I'm Rachel. I'm from Denver, Colorado. What I like about this class is I kind of like doing on the reading report how we have to tie back to the case study. So we're not just copying and pasting notes from our readings. We're actually kind of having to think about it. My career goals are I eventually want to work internationally at just I can't think, like a 501c, kind of company of a nonprofit company. So, and I graduate actually in December, and I'm kind of starting the process of finding an internship, but I agree with you, Courtney, it's really hard. So that's me.
Cool.
And before you came on, I said ladies first, so
Oh, okay, my turn.
you go for it.
Okay, my name's Corinne, and yeah, I kind of like what Courtney said. I like this course because it's kind of different. Learning about behavior is just really interesting, I think. And my career goals, I'm majoring in public health, and I also graduate in December. And I really like women's health, and I want to be able to like teach health education to like the women population. So I don't know if that means graduate school or I don't know yet. Still deciding. So yeah, and I live in California. So that's about it.
Cool. So my name is Dallas. I recently got married about a month and a half ago. I'm here in Rexburg, but I'm from Arizona. I am actually a caregiver right now. I've been a caregiver for about 8 months, and I love it. It's super fun. Something that I love about the class is that it's very applicable to life. There's a lot of classes that I'm taking that I feel aren't really applicable to like what I'm actually doing, and there's a lot of things like understanding people's behavior and just different ways to fix that. I really enjoy that, learning from that, and also my major is public health, and I hope to become a pediatrician, work with little kids and little babies. I would absolutely love that, and to hopefully become a surgeon in that. So that would be my most favorite thing, or at least a goal that I would like to achieve. So that's me.
Cool.
That's pretty neat. So the next part that we're supposed to do is to discuss the behavior models in theory, or the model. Does anyone want to get us started? Theory of reason, action, plan, behavior model.
Does it kind of have to do with the chart that we filled out?
Yes, that's what it is.
Well, the two charts, I think the theory of reasoned action kind of seemed more clear to me, maybe because that's the layout of the chart.
Yeah, I agree.
How it starts with the person's beliefs that the behavior leads to certain outcomes and his or her evaluations of these outcomes. And that kind of goes to the attitude towards the behavior. And I kind of like how they all kind of connect to intention, and how we kind of read about how really nothing changes without a person having the intention. I think that's what kind of stood out to me. And
having a really hard time hearing everybody because it might just be my connection, but I'm wondering if while we're not talking, if we mute our microphone, it might help. If you don't mind trying it, words people are saying, so it's really hard for me to participate in the conversation.
Okay.
So I agree with Rachel. The theory of reason action was a lot more easy for me to understand. I just like the flow of it, and I don't know. It's just, this is a challenging chapter for me. So if anyone is good on it, I would love to listen to your thoughts. So.
Now, I'm no pro at it either. I'm still like understanding it, but what I thought was cool was I always had the thought of like everything that we do is because of our intentions to do something, like that's what actually matters. And what I was able to understand like from this chart that we're looking at is it's not only the intention, but your attitude, and your also the attitude towards your behavior that is also influencing that behavior. So your attitude and the intention that you have, and also as I'm kind of looking here at the subjective norms, kind of what is normal. So we kind of are always trying to be, normal. Don't want to be a weird person in this society, and also just oh, and then also the perceived power as well. Um, Having others look at you in a way that you are actually like credible in what you do and say. So a lot of it's also has to do with your environment and things. That was kind of my 2 cents that I kind of grabbed from it. That was cool. That kind of made my thinking a little bit different than what I used to always think it was just intention. But that's kind of my 2 cents.
Yeah, I also thought it was kind of interesting how a lot of people like make decisions or certain behaviors based on like what they think other people will think of it, kind of like what you said about the norm, and how that's how most people are, like, don't want to be looked at as strange, but there are some people who don't care. So it's kind of interesting to see the difference of behavior.
Yeah, in one of the assignments, I applied this to like smoking cessation, and I was thinking about my parents just recently smoking, and they've been smoking for a long time, like probably 40 years plus. And kind of thinking about it and applying it to this, I can see that knowledge. So for me, this comes under like the first part of the attitude is understanding that it's important and what it will do for them. And I think that's part of attitude. I believe it fell under attitude is you have a positive attitude towards it because you understand that it would be good, or vice versa if you were stopping a behavior because it's bad for you. And then the social norms for me applied more to like not necessarily what others will think of you, but like those close to you who are in your like interpersonal group would be like, for example, with my parents, they're married and they both smoke. So if one of them wants to quit, the other one really has to quit. You can't do it without both of them. And it's the same with like if all your friends smoke, or like say you're at work and you have like smoke breaks, all your coworkers that you socialize with take smoke breaks. So my point is the social norms would affect your feelings about like how it's going to change your life and how others view you. Because weirdly enough, if you quit smoking and your friends all smoke, stand out there with them. So is in some of those friendships, and I think people recognize that. And then the last one was perceived control, and I think that that is a really big one for things that are addictive, because people who have tried to quit and were unsuccessful, especially if it happened many times, they can't do it, and they'll start to feel like, oh, I do have a positive attitude, I want to, and I think it's important support from their kids, like my parents do. You know, we all want them to quit smoking. So they may have a positive feeling towards social norms and feeling like they're going to be supportive of each other, down to, do they believe they can really do it? And that, I think, really changes your intention level. If you don't have a new belief in it, you know, somebody's given you like a new way or a new trick or a new something that you believe works. Do you know what I mean? Like here's a new system you can follow that has been successful, and person done it and been successful, then that can kind of help change your perceived. Like I know that, like in my parents' situation, they perceived behavioral control because they feel like that it's a very hard thing and they haven't been able to accomplish it. So I would share that with you. I think I used it in assignment or whatever. That's
All right, one second. My computer's dying, so I'll be right back, and then we can start back up. I'm sorry. Okay, when you were talking, Tammy, I liked, my favorite part was learning it just about how the attitude really affects the outcome. Because so one of my classes right now, in my drugs classes, we have to give up an addiction. My addiction is picking my split ends, and because that will take over like my homework, and that's what I do when I'm bored, and so I've tried to give up that like the past year or two, and I can't just because I don't really want to. But then now I'm seeing how it affects how I do my homework, and now I really have this like strong like I need to do this, and I have a better attitude towards it. And honestly, it's helped. The last week's been great. It's kind of weird habit, but it really helps me. And the perceived power, I liked how it said the perception about how easy or difficult it is to perform the behavior in each condition, identified in the control beliefs. So, where was I going with this?
Yeah, I like, Tammy, how you kind of walked through the whole model, because I know like the next part of our thing, it says like what kinds of interventions, and they listed in our readings, chapter 5, they listed a whole bunch, and one of them was quitting smoking. But really, if you look at like substance abuse or, you know, exercising or weight loss, it's really like how all you said, your attitude and how the people around you, how their behavior is, and how you're going to apply it, like how you are going to make that actual change in your life. So I really liked how you brought everything together for us. So thanks.
well, I hope I didn't just ramble on and on. I just tried to like prepare ahead of time, so I sort of had like my plan of what I was going to say.
No, that really helped, like because I was kind of have been a little bit confused about it. So it was really helpful. Thanks.
Does anybody want to discuss the examples in the readings? Or does anybody have a particular one that they wanted to discuss? I'm looking for one right now, so. So they list some right here. Diagnosis of depression, attitudes about genetically modified foods, condom use, HIV prevention, predicting mothers.
One of the things that I noticed about this model in particular, and well, the two models, they go together actually. One was made before it's improved on, and that was the second one. What they're called, which one came first, but the one that doesn't have the perceived was the first one, and then they added that. But anyway, one of the things that I noticed about it was change of behavior, so you wouldn't necessarily use it working on a community level. Like if you were working on a program plan that was like citywide or something, you might not be able to use this model because you have to learn the person's system and environment. And so it's really, and from what I read, kind of used more on almost at a personal level, or a education specialist that worked with like a small group, like maybe like a or something like that. I don't know if that applies, but it's just something I noticed.
Yeah, and if I can add too, Tammy, I'm right there with you. As I was looking through this, I was definitely looking at how different that this like template that has been shown to us can be so different in so many different environments. Like for instance, if you put this in one religion and then you put it into like a person that believes in something else, they may perceive like perceived behavioral control different, or like we were talking about subjective norms, about Tammy, how you think one norm in your interpersonal life is different than another norm in if you were to go outside or something, or a classroom like this. And so I could definitely see how it could be very, very it's a very vague template that can be used in different ways. So I just second what you say.
All right, do you guys want to move on to the Grace's scenario? Did you guys do that? I thought this part was kind of fun. So,
I could go first.
Yeah, you go for it.
Okay, so I thought with Grace's scenario, with her like trying to exercise, like there was a couple of examples of like different ways to like overcome like Grace's scenario. One of them was to take small steps. And of course, like for her to exercise, she's not going to, go running for 50 miles, try to run that like a, even greater than a marathon. She's going to, take smaller steps. So as a health educator, I would, of course, have her, take small steps. Also to create an environment where all the distractions are taken out. For instance, she's not going to have birthday cake all over the kitchen, or, those Twinkies out where, they can easily be popped open and into the mouth. Like, we got to get rid of all those distractions. And then the last thing that I was thinking of was that was also said in the readings, was to give her examples of success stories, and to help her realize that it's not only possible, but that she can exceed those stories, that the same situations as what Grace is in. And so those are just some of the examples that I read in the readings that may help her overcome her problem.
I also kind of said what you said, answering my question, but I also added to teach Olivia using the tact of having her set up the target, the action, the context, and the time. And I don't think that would, make it so overwhelming for her, and might be more approachable, since she says that she doesn't like to exercise at all. So I think that's all I added then.
When I did, I just kind of was looking at like, it pointed out some things about like her family and how size, and that kind of showed the her social norms, and also her attitude of really not liking exercise at all. And it made me think of like kind of like what you guys were saying, that could help her, would be possibly like finding activities that she, I would want to know, like, what does she think exercise is? Because a lot of people who say they don't like exercise, they look at it like, going to the gym or something. And so I would maybe want to see like what her thoughts are, and get a little deeper into what exactly she doesn't like about exercise, or if it's just because she feels uncomfortable doing it. If she's very overweight, maybe she just doesn't enjoy it because it's hard or whatever. So those, I think, would help you. And the behavior model, proceed one shows how to like apply it to specific things, I felt like. And so you could like basically chart it out as you find out more about her and what each level changes could be made, and like what needed to change, I think, was part of that sense. I know what I'm thinking, but I'm not expressing it very well.
No, that makes sense. I was kind of thinking that same thing as you, like the whole like what she thinks exercise is, because a lot of people that say they don't like exercise don't, they just haven't found something that is somewhat enjoyable to them. I mean, like, I just think of like my husband has a wrestling mat, and like that's what he does for exercise. And so like you can make it anything. And so I was thinking that same thing, Tammy, like with Grace, maybe maybe she doesn't like exercise at all, but maybe there's something she dislikes less than other ones. And I thought that anyway, so we were on the same wavelength.
I did. Yeah, I did have a question though. Did anybody understand what the purpose of the questions about the moral and not moral thing about, like, I guess that was like about attitude? I truly don't get it at all. I don't even know how it applies to this week. So if you figured it out, share.
Yeah, so it was it was kind of cool what I thought when I was reading about morals, like especially going to like a church organized university. Of course, we if we're Mormon, we get subsidized schooling, so it's okay to talk about God and things. So I think that's okay. But anyway, so I always thought morals was just like, because we're like a child of God. Like I always thought that it was just ingrained in us. Like that's just who we are. But as I was reading about how they did that experiment where they put this, they blocked like a neurotransmitter in the brain, and it stopped their morals. Like right when they sent that signal to their brain, and their morals stopped. Like they were given that instance where we did like our little quiz, and we're like, oh yeah, that's immoral because she tried to make her toxic and try to kill her. But like when they blocked her, they blocked the people in that part of the brain. I could look it up where in the brain, but their morals weren't there anymore. And so I was like, huh, that is super interesting. Because I always thought morals were just ingrained in us, like as children of God, in our spirits. But I think it was just trying to get us to think about, is morals something that we learn or something that we have previously already have, kind of a thing. Does that make sense, or am I just kind of saying gibberish?
It totally makes sense to me. I think what else is interesting about morals is how we did that quiz for her putting the powder into her friend's drink, and whether if she knows it that it's sugar or if she knows that it's toxic, which one's like, is it morally forbidden or is it morally presumable? So it's like, I think it's interesting how we judge people on whether or not what they know, too.
It's their intention.
Their
Oh,
intention.
you
It's
just
their
made the
intention.
light bulb go off in my head. I was like, what is the purpose of this? It's applied to this week, but I think that's what it was, is yes, we're judging them on the level of intent.
Yeah.
I think that's what you mean. I think that's why she put it in there, because I couldn't figure out what that would have to do with this behavior model or anything about it at all.
Yeah, do you guys want to go through what each of you put for that quiz? Do you guys have it handy? If not, it's okay, I could read it.
I think I have it somewhere. I can find it.
I'm just kind of interested to see what everybody else put.
Yeah, because to me, it seemed like kind of a no-brainer. So that maybe that's just like super judgmental of me, but I was kind of like, of course, this is what it is. So it will be. I might feel really dumb when everybody has different answers than me. That's not it. I can't find it. I didn't label it when I saved it, and I can't find it. It's somewhere.
The only thing I had, on the second one, it says, Grace thinks the powder is sugar, it is toxic, and her friend dies. So she really didn't have any intention of hurting her friend, but it still had the negative consequences. So I put a 3 because I wasn't sure. That's the only one that I was like,
Me too.
yeah. Otherwise they were like very like, yes, it's okay, or no, it's forbidden. So that's the
That
only
is
one.
interesting.
Yeah, that's the only one I set a 3 on, because I was like, well, she didn't have the intention, but.
So do you think it's morally wrong to like mistakenly, like if you have an accident and you didn't know something and it ends up causing damage, do you think that that's morally wrong?
No. I think because it was an accident, and if you like genuinely did not know, that is
Right.
true. And it says she thinks the powder is sugar. You're right.
Yeah. So she had no clue in that circumstance. So that's interesting, because when I first read it, I was like, well, you can't be held accountable for something you didn't know, but really that's not true in life. It's like, if a police officer says you did something wrong and you go, well, I didn't know it was wrong, they're just going to be like, well, that sucks for you, because
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. No excuses.
No, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily a moral issue or what.
I kind of think it relates to when I think about this, I think about like people who are mentally disabled. We have like I don't really know what goes on in their heads. They're probably really smart, but we have a good friend and he is autistic. He's 16 years old and sometimes he does things that he doesn't necessarily know what he's doing. And like if it was anybody else, you'd be like, you know what you're doing. But since he honestly doesn't, it's not like as bad, Like he'll learn from it obviously, but he has to go through that process. So I think and it also relates to the gospel too.
Yeah.
So if we don't
It
know, then our Heavenly Father's not going to judge us because we didn't, we didn't know. So,
Can't be held accountable.
yeah.
Yeah, that's very wise of you, and I think it applies a lot actually to public health because, and like a few of us are caregivers. If you have someone who is not in their right mind, it actually applies a lot to what I forgot your name, Dallas, said too about how they I think they did like an electrical something to the brain, but definitely if there's damage to a brain, we no longer hold people accountable for their actions in a lot of different ways because we understand that they couldn't make that choice, you know, from a sane mind. And so you put up with a lot of things, from people who don't know. It's just like little kids, really. It's the same kind of thing. Like you can try to keep them from doing that bad thing or hurting people, but you can't really force them to stop because they don't understand. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just wish like the police like had an intention meter, or like, was your intentions really to do this? How great would that be? Oh, perfect world stuff. Oh, that'd be great.
Forget the police. I want one of those for my kids. Seriously. And everybody else I know. What? I would just carry it around with me everywhere. That might be dangerous. Well, I think that's everything. Am I right? Or are we missing anything?
It says to read the instructions for the Lesson 7 application assignment together. Prepare to complete this assignment by following a group member to select one of their interviewees. Work together to identify the constructs from the interview questions and select which area of the volunteer struggled with the most.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Then work together to design the interventions driven by the model.
Oh, I already did that whole stupid assignment. I didn't even know we were supposed to do that together. That sucks.
No, I'm supposed to practice together. Like,
Are you
I don't
sure?
think we like we have to do individually.
Oh,
I think we just
okay, good. I was gonna say, man,
yeah,
I think I wasted time.
yeah. I think we just have for practice.
We could do that.
You are on top of it because I am like, what?
Oh my gosh.
Well, I read it. I had to read it like 10 times because I did not understand.
Well, I usually just make a solid guess if I don't understand.
Yeah.
It works well for me. Oh, I have this really horrible class I'm in that is like seriously the hardest class I've ever taken. And so assignments done early because I have to spend all my time on that other class. That's why.
See, and I feel like this class, I am doing double the work than in any other class.
Oh, really?
It's so crazy.
Huh.
Some of the HS classes have a lot of reading. And like I've taken some other program planning ones before this one that also had a lot of reading. And I think that's probably what makes it more overwhelming.
Yeah, and I think too, they just want you to have busy work. They just want to give you something to do to give you more hours, just to fill in. Like what you said, Tammy, when you're like, this stupid assignment, print, quote, stupid. I think it's just.
Is this being recorded?
Oh man.
Yeah,
basically-
well,
Tammy, since you already did the assignment, I just have a question about it.
okay, go for it.
Um,
I don't know if I'm right, but I'll try to help you.
So you just took one of your interviewees from that one assignment, and then you just like kind of tried to develop an intervention based on their answers and things.
Well, what I found, what I got out of it, and like I said, I may be doing it totally wrong, is it kind of goes back and forth. You use the questions for your interview, and you choose one of them as part of this assignment, and you also take all the questions, regardless of which one you did the interview with, but just all the initial questions, and you separate them into groups by whether it falls under attitude, the social norms, I can't remember what it's called, and then, or the behavior, so what you're getting out of that question. So first you have to separate all that. And just for quickness, what I did, and it was really awesome once I figured it out, is I went through and highlighted and used my control button to highlight every question that fit under the first grouping, and then I just copied and pasted it, and then I did it again with the second one, and it just went really fast. So that was handy. I don't know if you guys want to try that or not, but I liked it. Anyway, and then you pick the person, a specific interview, and that's mostly just, it seems like to me that one is mostly like, I don't know, I didn't have to make an intervention for him specifically, but it just asked some questions. Like, let me get down to it so I can quit rambling and give you the exact thing that I'm talking about. Okay, so because of the answers you provide, that's part of the question. Okay, review the health behavior change framework. So I'm on number 4, and it says, in your own words, describe the process you need to take to develop interventions as a health educator. So it's not actually about the previous question. It's,
Okay.
so the first half you're using your interviews, and the second half, not so much. It's kind of moving on. And on number 5 is where you are, so number 4, you're explaining it in your own words. And then number 5 is where you're coming up with like specific applications for it. And I just chose, that's the one that I chose smoking cessation for.
Okay.
And I used it to describe first, second of the model. And then the very last part, you're just, it's like reflective questions. They're,
Okay, yeah.
sort of like what do you learn or whatever. So I don't think you have to come up with, but that would work well. Do that. I didn't actually think of that, but
well, yeah. I mean, I was just
do like
kind
an
of like
exercise
wondering
intervention or diet intervention or something.
Because I was reading the directions and it was kind of like kind of confusing. But okay, that's helpful.
Yeah, I had to read the questions several times.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Got a lot of work to do then tomorrow. So.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you guys think? Or do we have to do the?
I was just thinking we should assign next week's leader, and also, if you don't mind, we could go ahead and set a time to meet if your schedules are available to you.
I'm good with same time next week.
Yeah, I'm good with same time next week as well. And I think Rachel is going to be our leader. Rachel, is that correct?
Yes, I will be the leader next week.
Okay,
Okay.
awesome.
So
All right,
same
and
time
so we'll
good?
just, yeah, I think that works.
Let me know.
Okay.
I'm in Central Time, so I'm an hour later. So I try not to get past 9 your time.
I wouldn't mind doing it earlier either, but I know that our time frame that we signed up for started at 8
Yeah.
Mountain Time, so I don't mind doing it that late, but
Whatever works
I
best.
would
If something
probably.
pops up, I'm totally fine with you. We're starting at 7 or 7:30 Mountain Time. So
Okay.
whatever works. I'm free Thursday night, so for right now we'll do it at 8 Mountain Time, and if I
Yeah,
guess
yeah, I'll plan for
something
8
happens.
o'clock then next week.
Okay, and we're just using email for communication?
Yeah.
I'm good with
Okay.
that.
Okay, great.
Do
Thanks,
you want me
guys.
to start the meeting next week, or Rachel, will you?
Well, how did you, I guess I can Google it, how you got the,
I'll email you the document I have. It helps a lot.
okay,
Let me
Yeah,
know if
because
that doesn't work.
I think that
though.
the
Okay.
leader should probably do it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But if you don't
Yeah.
know how, you
No,
probably
I
should
can,
learn because you're going to
yeah,
have
no, I
another
need,
class that makes you do it.
yeah, I need to learn. I do need, I'm normally the one who makes the calls, but it's not through Google Hangouts.
It's
Oh,
through YouTube.
Yeah,
So I'll
so,
send you it. It's pretty easy. This
okay.
instructions are good. So
All right,
guys.
well then
okay.
I will see you guys
Thanks.
next week.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.